This video is about two fragrances released in 2020. One is from Rozas and one is from Ferragamo. If you're interested, stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Peter from Central. If you're new to this channel, I want to give you a warm welcome. If you're back, it is good to see you again. On this channel, we talk about fragrances, designer, niche, perfumers, so on and so forth. So if you're into fragrances or you just want to smell nice, consider subscribing. Don't forget to hit that little bell button down there. It lets you know of any of my further posts. I want to thank you in advance, and now let's get into the video. The first one we're going to talk about is Rozas and its L'Homme from 2020. And this particular fragrance was created by a perfumer. The nose behind it is Bruno Jovanovic. Bruno Jovanovic worked on fragrances like Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce. He's also worked on Coach Men and the Platinum. He's also worked for Hugo Boss, The Scent. And he's also worked on Paco Rabanne at the XS line. And the latest one that he's worked on is from 2020. It is Rozas and it is L'Homme. And it comes in a beautiful box like this. Kind of simple, doesn't say too much about it. It's got a little bit of a ripple effect on it on the outside. And the bottle looks just like that. The bottle itself is actually quite beautiful. Let's go ahead and give this one a spray and see how the sprayer does on it. I remember it actually being quite well. Here we go. Nice, soft, tuft. There's gonna be plenty that comes out of this one. The top notes on this fragrance are going to be some cardamom. You also have some blood orange. There's also a hint of pineapple that you get at the beginning of this fragrance. As the fragrance kind of dries down just a little bit, you get a little bit of juniper, you get some geranium, you also get some basil in the middle. So the fragrance itself deepens quite a bit. There's also oak moss, patchouli, and tonka bean in the base of this fragrance. I wore this fragrance quite extensively last week to trying to get a feel for it, of how long it would last. And I got about 7+ hours, which is a pretty good longevity for a fragrance like this. And you got about 2 hours of really decent projection out of it. I mean, arm's length for sure. I did get a compliment on it, so it is definitely something that people will like. However, if you're expecting, because this is a Rozas, if you're expecting something like we did from 2018, from the Rozas Mustache, if you guys remember this one, it's not going to be anything like this. This is a brighter, smokier fragrance, and it's actually I like this one just a little bit better than I do this new creation from 2020. This is going to be a more generic blue fragrance that is rather mass appealing. I guess Rozas L'Homme for me falls a little bit short in the uniqueness department. Where the mustache was really cool and it was a reiteration of a fragrance from a long time ago and they kind of jazzed it up and it made it a really nice fragrance. Rozas is kind of more on the generic side and it's not super unique in my eyes or to my nose. This 2020 release is somewhat reminiscent for me of the Dylan Blues, maybe Dolce & Gabbana K, the EDT. But if you don't have any one of these, you know, if you don't have more fragrances that are along that genre of the Dylan Blues or the Dolce & Gabbana K, if you don't have anything yet, then I think L'Homme by Rozas 2020 is a good choice. It does last quite long and it does give good protection and is definitely a crowd pleaser. However, if you have, you know, a decent collection already and you have, you know, more fragrances that are blue, I think this one might be just a little bit redundant. To sum this fragrance up, I would say imagine Dylan Blue mixed with some Dolce & Gabbana K and a nice heavy dose of a Ferragamo tonka bean, and you'll end up with Rozas L'Homme, in my opinion. Since we mentioned Ferragamo tonka bean, you know, why don't we go ahead and look at the new 2020 or semi-new 2020 release, Ferragamo for him. Since we're here, why not, if you're up for it? The nose behind this one is Antoine Maison-Dieu. But let's give this one a spray as well. This is the Ferragamo. Before we do that, here, this is not leather. It does look like leather though. And the bottle is, you know, it looks nice, almost like a Prada stripe right here. Ferragamo like that. But let's give it a spray and see how it does. Nice, strong, saturated, small tuft of fragrance. Not bad at all. This is a much fresher approach. You have some bergamot, you have some lemon at the top, and there's also a little bit of sage right when you spray it. So it comes across a little bit fresher than the Rozas from the top notes. Yeah, it's definitely fresher than the Rozas right off the top. The top notes are quickly taken by the violet and cedar in the middle of this fragrance. There's also a hint of leather in this fragrance, but it's barely noticeable. It is probably the reason why Ferragamo came out with an intense leather of this one in 2021. I don't have it yet. I'll get my hands on it as soon as I can to see what that one's about. And I do think if this one had a stronger leather note, it would be a much better fragrance. It is, just like the Rozas itself, it is a bit on the mass-pleasing side, although it is a little bit lighter than the Rozas. Both of these fragrances are extremely mass-pleasing. If you're looking for something that is unique and makes you stand out from a crowd of people wearing fragrances, these two are unfortunately not going to satisfy that itch. However, if you're looking for a mass appealing fragrance and you don't have too many in your collection already, and you don't want to go with the classics, you know, like Dylan Blue or so, then I think either one of these is a good choice. They're mass appealing, you will get some compliments with them, and everyone is going to like them. They're just not going to be incredibly unique. But if you haven't got any of these sort of blue fragrances, you know, with the tonka and the bergamot at the top, with a little bit of vetiver in it, I think these two are good choices. Another plus for these fragrances, for, you know, Ferragamo 2020 or Rozas L'Homme 2020, is that you can wear this one or either one of these for any occasion. You know, morning, night. I would go a little bit easier on the sprayer on the Rozas L'Homme, since it is a little bit of a denser fragrance, at least for me in the summer. And I think that the Ferragamo is just a little bit lighter. But both of these are very universal. You can wear them just about to any occasion and you won't offend anybody. Like I said, very mass pleasing. However, if my advice or what I would do is I would wait to get either one of these fragrances. If you're interested, get them at the online shops to get a better price. Don't buy them, you know, at the retailers. It's too much for what you get in these fragrances. They're not bad, but they're mass appealing. So just save your hard-earned money and buy them online and use that money that you saved for that fragrance that comes next, because you know that we will buy it. Cheers. I hope you enjoyed this review of Ferragamo 2020 and Rozas L'Homme 2020. If you did or got anything out of this at all, please do consider subscribing. Love, like, share, all those wonderful things. Don't forget to hit that little like button and bell button on the bottom here that lets you know of any of my further posts. I want to thank you in advance. Until next time, I want you to take good care of yourself. Always smell nice, and I will talk to you soon. Until then, Scent Trail.